Charles, how are you?
Man, I'm doing great. The tournament is always fun, and it's just a crapshoot. You got no idea who's gonna win. I mean, when you have like 17 million, at least, well, just on one site alone, 17 million brackets, and nobody's perfect. And I think it's just crazy trying to pick this tournament every year.
Yeah, it gets. You're right. I mean, and this year you had 6 different teams that occupied the top spot in the AP poll, and I think that this tournament is showing that right now. I think you just heard what I said there. Do you think? I think anybody could win it right now. Anybody can win 4 games in a row right now. Would you agree?
I don't know about that. I still feel good about my pick of Arizona. I think that North Carolina, Kentucky, UCLA. I think
Kansas?
one of those top teams will win it.
Okay.
I do, but I feel very good. Tell you what's going to be a great game, probably Arizona against Gonzaga. That's going to be a hell of a game. But I think if Arizona can get home, I take the home crowd and pull them through.
Now, what do you think of Alonzo Ball's play here, Charles? And I know you and LeVar have had words through other intermediaries and shows similar to this one. What do you make of his game, this young man's game, regardless of how it's being positioned by his dad?
I think he's terrific. He reminds me of a young Jason Kidd. He passes the ball like Jason Kidd, in my opinion, always moving it ahead, always make a great decision. He's perfect at making his teammates better. And then the thing that impressed me about last night was when everybody was struggling, I think Alford and Leaf were 1 for 10 at the half, and he came out and he scored to loosen them up. And then they scored after that. But he knew when he needed to be aggressive and score. But, man, I tell you what, between him, that freshman Jackson at Kansas, I know a lot of people like the kid from Washington, but he's always hurt, so I haven't got a chance to see him play quite a bit. But I know the Jackson kid and the Ball kid, man, that's going to be a tough decision for somebody when the draft comes around.
Well, do you think when the draft does come around, Charles, that there will be teams that would shy away from Lonzo because of what LeVar is saying and how he's putting his stuff out there quite a bit?
No, I don't think that. I mean, the kid's just too good to pass up, especially if you need a point guard. I mean, it all depends on who, obviously, because some teams, they might have a point guard already. But if this kid's available and you need a point guard, you got to take him. He's terrific. And the thing about the kid seems like a great kid. I mean, I think I finally got a chance to see him talk with this week. But he's a terrific kid, looks like from a distance, but he's just a hell of a player.
Oh, can you blame his dad for doing what he's doing, though, with a platform?
Yeah, I can.
Oh.
Yeah, I can. You don't have to say he's better than Steph Curry, a guy who's a 2-time MVP. Listen, we all think our kids are great. But I'm not going to say my daughter is better than Maya Moore. That just makes me stupid. I mean, you can think that, but you don't have to say it. And he should be proud of his kid. The kid's a hell of a player. But you don't have to go at Steph Curry. Steph Curry's earned his stripes. And then you don't have to go after Michael Jordan when you average 2 points a game. Please. But listen, he was trying, and it's unfortunate because people talk more about him than they do about his son. And they should be talking about his son because his son's a flat-out stud.
Well, but do you really think, though, that he does mean what he's saying, though, Charles? It just seems to me he's just playing the platform.
Yeah, but it just takes away from his kid. Who's been on TV more, him or his kid? Him. And listen, I know how the media work. They're idiots, most of them. They just trying to get ratings and sound bites. But at some point, you'd be like, yo, man, let your kid enjoy his only probably NCAA tournament. He don't want to be asking questions about you during the tournament. He doesn't want – Steve Alford don't want to be answering questions about you. Let them kids enjoy their tournament. I mean, because some of those kids never going to play basketball again after the next couple of weeks, and they got a chance to do something special.
What's your favorite college memory, Charles, when you were playing at Auburn? Well, does this bring back any memories like that?
Just getting Auburn to the NCAA tournament for the first time. That was my goal when I went to Auburn. We weren't any good. We had never been to the tournament. And my junior year, we finally got selected to the tournament, and it was just pretty special. Probably one of the things I'm most proud of because, we've been struggling. We finally got a coach in there who I'm happy with, Bruce Pearl. But, Auburn, we've been struggling for a long time, but I feel really good being on the first team to get them to the NCAA tournament. It was a big deal because obviously we're a football school, always have been and always will be. But I want us to have some sustained excellence in basketball. And I felt really good because we had a window where we made the tournament, I think, 5 or 6 years in a row after we got there the first time. So that was pretty cool, me getting that started.
Charles Barkley joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's just quickly change to the NBA right now. This weekend, I know a ton of people here in Los Angeles who wanted to see LeBron and Kyrie Irving when they were in town. Clipper fans came out and didn't see either of them out there. Where do you stand on this subject of resting players out of the blue, Charles?
Well, listen, I've been in the NBA for 30 years, and all of a sudden now, with better shoes, private jets, all this stuff they got, now all of a sudden they worried about getting hurt. I think it's a joke. Guys who make, especially when you're screwing your TV partners, just for the record, we're the reason they make $10, $20, $30 million TV. Not no disrespect to the fans, but the reason players make $10, $20, $30 million is because of the TV partners, ESPN and us at Turner. And all of a sudden, I don't know where this thing come from, where they got the rest, and you got all these idiots on television talking about, well, we have stats that show if you play back-to-back. I'm like, yo, man, Bill Russell played in Converse. He had a long career. Tim Duncan, the greatest power forward ever, played 20 years, basically, and he went to college for 4 years. You look at Michael, went to college for 3 years. He never got hurt. Man, these guys they just care about money nowadays. But what I think needs to happen, I think the fans need to boycott games and boycott television to send these guys a message, because people always understand money. And I'm really sick of all these punk-ass reporters, and that's all they are. They're kissing up to these young generation, telling, well, these guys need rest. Well, first of all, we've always needed rest. But when you're making millions of dollars to dribble a basketball, and listen, like I say, I'm so old, I flew coach and played back-to-back games. These guys are flying private, getting a great night's sleep, getting a great meal, and they're making $20, $30 million, and they can't play a couple basketball games? This is ridiculous, man. And like I say, I hope at some point the fans all get together and say, you know what we're going to do? We're not going to go to any games for a week, and we're not going to watch any games on television for a week. I think if the fans hit back, it'll be great.
Now, is it the players, though, Charles, saying, like, for instance, just this weekend, LeBron and Kyrie saying, I need a break, or it's somebody in the Cavs organization that's crunched the numbers and REM state and REM sleep and all that sort of thing, saying that they have a better chance of going deeper into the playoffs if they get occasional rest to some of these guys, and these guys are sat? I mean, what is it?
It don't matter. It don't matter. It doesn't matter who's crunching the numbers. You can always crunch the numbers. I just gave you some numbers. Did Michael Jordan miss games? Did Larry Bird, Magic Jones, did those guys rest and miss games? I think they all played in college longer, number one, but also played double-digit years in the NBA. So why all of a sudden when they start making money, they want to extend their career because they want to make more money? Call it what it is, man. Don't give these little fools no alibis. Come on. I played in the NBA for 16 years. How many times, hey, Coach, I need to rest? This is all new, and it's only because their agents want to extend their career because there's so much money out there. But the point, the other point is, you keep screwing your TV partners. Why should we keep giving y'all all that money if y'all going to rest half the time?
Charles Barkley joining me here. A couple more minutes with Charles here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's with everybody saying the world's flat? Charles? Kyrie said that. Shaq said that. Where's this all coming from, Charles?
Listen, man, we got some crazy people out there. You know, Kyrie, I gave him a pass because he only went to college for like 30 games.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think he only played about 10 because he was hurt. Shaq just don't know any better. You know, you got to understand. Remember, I don't know if you were watching our show about a month ago, and we were kind of doing a little celebration of John Glenn's life.
Oh, yeah.
And Shaq wondered out loud, is it closer? He says, is it closer to get to L.A. or go to the moon? And he says, it's probably closer to get to the moon. And we're like, why? He said, because when I step outside, I can see the moon. I can't see California. And we're like, what? He says, yeah, when I step outside, I see the moon, but I can't see California. So it's got to be further to California than the moon. So that gives you an example of what I'm dealing with. And you know, you're laughing.
Yeah.
And we're laughing. And then we realize he's 100% serious.
Yeah, I know.
And then to prove it, we have to actually look it up. We have to Google it and explain to him the difference. But it was hilarious. And that's the great thing about being on live television.
Yeah.
And when somebody says something like that, you're like, dude, you're serious? Yeah, I can see the moon. I can't see California.
How fun is it shooting those spots with Spike and Sam Jackson, Charles? It looks like I love those commercials.
It's really cool. It's fun. And the thing about it, man, I got so much respect for Spike as a director. But I tell you something, we're shooting those spots, man. Sam Jackson is so helpful to me because, you know, I think a lot of time these people do these commercials, they're really smart, but they don't really have a sense of humor. And Sam can give me some clues how to do things a certain way, how to say things a certain way, and it really pops every time. I mean, I just got so much respect for the guy as an actor, but, man, he is so helpful for me when I'm doing commercials. And listen, I'm really happy with Capital One because, you know, last year we won an award called the Clio.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, so it was really cool. So, and I think this year, I hope the commercials are better. But Capital One's been great for us and Spike and Sam.
Steaks on a plane, Charles. My gosh, it gets me every time. The steaks on a plane? Come on. That's great.
So you ain't got nothing to do since football ain't around, huh?
No, I'm watching tournament games. Charles?
You know, the NFL, y'all on hijack and make it a 24-hour a day, 365-day news cycle. Free agency, then you got the combine, then you got the draft coming up. And like, dude, nobody cares about all that stuff. When does the real football start again?
What?
That's all we care about.
You didn't watch the combine at all, Charles? You didn't check it out?
You know, I actually think the combine could be interesting. I don't understand why they don't work out in pads.
Well, they don't want the guys to get hurt. But I understand what you're saying.
No, I don't mean any hitting. But as far as running and throwing, why don't they just – I never understood because, everybody's going to be faster and jump higher when they're in their underwear. I never understood why they don't work out in like I say, I don't want any hitting going on.
Sure.
But why when you run the 40 and those agility drills – in the shoulder pads and things like that. I never understood why they don't do that.
That's a good question. I think they just want to see what these guys are without all that stuff, and they have to put the 2 and 2 together. What was the fastest 40 you've ever run?
I think a 4.5.
Come on. Wow.
Dude, I used to be fast now. I'm not now, I'm just fast now. But I used to be fast. But I had enough sense. I don't know if I told you the story. I played football one day, and they almost killed me out there, and I quit after one day.
One and done?
Well, why don't you quit? I did. That's a true story. They said, what's the last thing the coach said to you? He said, I'll see y'all tomorrow. I said, you think I'm going to do this again tomorrow? You're damn goofy. And I said, Coach, good. Thank you for the opportunity, but I'm not tough enough to play football. And I quit after one day.
Charles, I miss talking to you. Let's do this again more often, please. And come and when you're in LA,
My brother,
I'd
you
love to
got
see
my number. Anytime you want me to talk, just text me. I love talking to you.
Sit right back at you, Charles. You take care.
All right, man. Take care of yourself. You guys have a good rest of March Madness.
You got it. Thanks. You too, Charles.
See, Chuck.
That's Charles Barkley.
Oh, yeah.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.